because the UK really didn't have, this ace up its sleeve like we do for now. The Fed is going to have to go back to QE, which is what I've been saying they're going to do. The only way to stop long-term interest rates from soaring and crushing the economy and the stock market and the banks and everything, right, that Trump is promising to pump up. The only way we can have these tax cuts, at least in the short run, is if the Fed goes back to quantitative easing to monetize the massive budget deficits that the tax cuts produce. Now, that is not bullish for the US dollar. It's the opposite. That is not bearish for gold. It is the opposite. So I was talking about the Trump trade before and the stocks that were going up on anticipation of Trump winning that have still gone up. And, maybe the buy the rumor, sell the fact will take a little longer before the selling comes. But now the Trump trade is the inflation trade. Gold is now the Trump trade. Silver is the Trump trade. Mining stocks are the Trump trade. Big time, because that is what Trump is going to produce. The markets have completely forgot about that in this euphoric celebration, right? The markets always look for a reason to rally, run the stops, get everybody hyped up and excited, overlooking what's happening in the bond market and that it's going to continue. And as it continues, it has to spill over into the stock market. Tomorrow will be a big day. And either I'll do another podcast tomorrow, I'll do it Friday. I mean, I might wait for Friday just to give people a chance to listen to this, because I know I got to talk about the reaction to what the Fed says. Although sometimes it takes the second day. Sometimes there's a knee-jerk reaction, and then you have the opposite reaction the following day. So maybe Friday would be a better time to kind of recap what happened on both Thursday and Friday and give people a chance to listen to this podcast. This is not, happy days are here again, and it's frustrating because I really wish I could celebrate. I got so many friends here. I had a bunch of people over my house on last night for a watch party, and we were up till like 2 a.m, like high-fiving and celebrating that Trump won. But to me, I have mixed feelings about it because I know what's coming, right? I know that all this is just BS, right? I mean, I'm glad that the voters chose Trump over Harris. But again, they wouldn't have chose Trump if he had told the truth. If he hadn't told so many promises that he can't possibly deliver. He bought all the votes, including the crypto community, pandering to them, get their money, get their votes. We're going to set up a Bitcoin reserve, right? So he was just giving out all kinds of money, promising the moon, and he can't deliver on it. And so I know this is not going to end well. And I'm still have the trepidation that it's going to be blamed because the media's already got the narrative. Because according to the media, the economy is great. Bidenomics worked like a charm. We have a great economy. Trump said he's going to fix it. If everything collapses right away, see what Trump did. And they're going to tie Trump to capitalism, free markets, deregulation, less government, right? So they're going to really hang this collapse on free market capitalism and Trump. And if you thought Kamala was left wing, wait till you see who we elected 4 years, because of this collapse. So I'm nervous about that. Right. That was be careful what you wish for because it might happen. That's the one reason I said, well, if Harris wins, the one thing about it is at least, if it collapses on her, it's not going to be blamed on Republicans or Trump, even though, look, the Republicans bear a lot of responsibility for what happened. Look what happened with George Bush and George W. Bush in particular. I was highly critical of George Bush, as other Republicans were singing his praise, like Larry Kudlow, who's probably going to be back in the Trump administration. We need more people to be critical of Trump, and I was critical, but I kind of tempered it a little bit before the election because I didn't want to get people not to vote for him. I mean, when you're looking at the alternative, but obviously now people can't take their votes back. So he's president, whether you like it or not, but I can be far more critical of his policies that he's enacting. And it's very important. There needs to be more people to stand up and criticize what he's about to do. Because if you don't criticize it and it blows up like it will, you have no credibility to say, I told you so, or to offer any kind of solutions that anybody will buy. If you are just cheerleading Donald Trump with his tax cuts, right? And just, hop on board this Trump train, right? When it crashes or goes over the cliff, you're going down with it, and along with your reputation. You've got no credibility to then say, "Oh yeah, well, of course, here's what we need to do." No, you were on board with this. You were in favor of it. You didn't warn about this happening. So why should we believe anything that you say, right? If I'm out there and there's other free market libertarians, Austrian economists, hard money guys that will say this is a mistake. We can't afford these tax cuts. We need significant cuts to government spending. We need a real free market revolution in this country. And yes, in the short run, there's going to be losers. People who are getting government benefits are going to get fewer benefits, right? Some jobs have got to be lost. It may take a while to get them replaced. People are going to have to spend less. You're not going to take as many vacations.